So, have you had a good start of the conference or day for day one? Yes. Yeah, have you seen a lot of new things? Cool. So, all the AI stuff. So, AI, we're going to talk about challenges today. Do you think AI will increase or decrease our challenges? Okay, good laughter. If you ask Microsoft, they will probably say decrease, I would say. I'm not so sure. We'll see. So, as I said, my name is Mattias Lögdberg, and I work at a company called DevOps Solutions. So what I do daily, more or less, is analyze and review of Azure services, specialized in Azure integration services, obviously. We started off in security space, but are I wouldn't say more, but we are expanding into optimization. That's more or less what we talk about. The things we're going to talk about today is more experience from me, from customers, from our partners that we work with, and hopefully I will have you as my helping during this journey we'll do today. Because we will go through the idea is to kind of take a simple scenario and grow and talk about the challenges that we see along the way. And try to go a little bit more where we are today, maybe than all the other sessions are, because we have a lot of inspiration, and I will bring everything back down to every hurt you have home. Sounds fun, right? Oh, come on, it's going to be fun. Yes, good. So, challenges. We have challenges in our world, and we will have a few of them. We will start off with tooling and ecosystem. We will then go into, this was a slow one, operational complexity. We will go further into architectural complexity. We will, security and compliance, deployment, cognitive complexity. Anyone knows what cognitive complexity is? No one? It's your brain, exactly. And I just realized when I was watching that, did you see Kent's sessions before this one? Yeah, a few heads nodding. Think about the cognitive complexity when all of these AI stuff comes into the picture. That's going to be interesting. I think I'll pick that word. But okay, how do we explore this way? Well, I use the whiteboard often, so let's use the whiteboard. So we will talk about these things, but we will do them using the whiteboard. So I will actually copy this single slide, and we will open the whiteboard. So, there we go. These are the topics we will talk about. And we will start. Super simple scenario. So, we will start at the context of an architect. What is an architect doing? Drawing stuff. What more exactly is it are they drawing? Or we drawing, because I've titled myself as an architect. Boxes and arrows, exactly. Awesome. We will drive boxes and arrows. That's super. So we'll have a super simple way. We have some sort of consumer over here. And we have an ERP over here. And we need to get data there. That's kind of the business case we have. So the business case is doing that. So as an architect, I usually do something like this. I want to have an API, I want to have arrows, and I want to have the ERP. And I need to slow down so my arrows is a little bit more beautiful. So there we go. And again, we have the user over here. No, we can just leave the user. So I want some assistance here. Tell me, what ERP systems are we using? Are we using cloud? Are we using it on-prem? Sorry? A real mix. Oh, you want to have two of them? Oh, you're naughty. ERP2. Interesting. This is going to be an interesting session. Good. We have two of them. One in cloud and one on-prem. Okay, let's make a fluffy one. Just because I can, I will make a fluffy one. Good. Interesting. We'll see where this goes. You're challenging me. That's good. Okay. Let's see. When we have this picture, we need to have some services, right? Because we are still in like an overview thing, right? So anyone has a preference that we need to use? So if I'm going to expose an API, what should I use? API management. Sounds like a good plan. So that's the simple one. But, okay, I need to do this. But meanwhile, while I draw, what should we use next? What should be behind API management? Because I'm pretty sure we're not able to just connect to the ERP right away, are we? Microservices, sounds good. Any favorite service? Container apps. Okay, container apps, are they solo? Are they using functions? What are we using? Functions? Functions on a container app, sounds good. This is gonna be a fun session. I like you guys. We got container apps. Oh my God. And let's just add a small lightning over here just for stating that it's a function. You can complement my drawing afterwards. Sorry. There we are. And then we going to the cloud ERP or the on-prem. Cloud, perfect. So we're going to ERP. I need to have this blue, I think. Otherwise, I will mistake them. So there we go. Sounds good. Are we using the same technology for the on-prem one? Or do you use something more? So containers again, yep, sounds good. Then we use container AKS, I thought you said. Bare metal, wow. Interesting. There we go. And then we go to ERP2. Nice. Okay. So we have this solution over here, and we're going there, and we're going there. So no logic apps, nothing like that added. Do we need some sort of other processing mechanisms? Do we need like a service bus, or do we need like an eventing, or? Caching. Sorry? Cache? Sounds Cache sounds fun. Let's see. Let's add cache in here. Whoa. No, let's use another color for cache. Depends on where we want to use the cache, but I will just add it in here because we're going to have it in multiple places, I think, in the end. Okay. Anything else we want to add? Any hands? Sorry? Authentication and? Synchronized? Synchronize them. No, I don't want to add that to the picture. Monitoring, yeah. But that will come into challenges. So that's it. Okay, good. Authentication will come under security. Monitoring will come later on during our challenges because we will go into these challenges. So, okay, we have container apps, we got API management, we got AKS, we got ERPs there. Okay, so tooling. We need tooling to sort this out, right? Any preference of tooling? So what do you use when you work with API management? Bicep? Yeah, that's one way. So we got Bicep. Sounds good. Anything else we use with API management? VS Code. And we had what more? Insomnia. I don't even know what that is, so I will just write it down. Sorry? Lack of sleep. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we will have that one starred. Perfect. Any more tooling we need when we build containers, apps? Oh, do you have one more? Policy Copilot. Oh. Do you use that in the portal or use it in VS Code or? VS Code, yeah, cool. I just added Policy Pilot. Sounds good. Yep. Sorry? Wax. Flux. 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 Sounds good. I'm out of my depths on this container app, so you'll have to help me to this, just so you know. That's good. Anything else? When we code our functions, what do we use then? Python. Wow. Okay, maybe we shouldn't go that far. Let's use something that we all in the room understand. Let's go there. So what do we use? C#. Sounds good. So we have C# in here. We actually have some XMLs as well because I think the policies in API management still is XML. And are we good with VS Code for functions, or are you like me, like a Visual Studio old school person? Visual Studio, okay, yeah, we have a few of those. Let's just make it more. You can still combine these, and I still can't write. Good. Pipeline. We need some DevOps, right? Or what? Some deployment. Let's, we can add that as well. Deployment, pipeline. Let's write pipeline. Regardless if it's DevOps, if it's GitHub. Do you have a preference, by the way? I think I have one. Anything we're missing now? Sorry? Container registry, a good one. Yeah. Okay. Container registry, which is also a service that actually will be here somewhere. I would say that's more accurate, I think.
Container environment.
And container environment, well, let's put that in later. That's more on the container app stuff. So there we go. Awesome. So now we can actually communicate. Ooh, sorry. There we go. Okay, so this simple problem expanded a bit, just because we're having fun, right? Awesome. Okay, next thing, operational complexity. What skills do we need in order to do this? We probably need someone who understands AKS to maintain the cluster. That's probably something we need. A developer sounds like a good plan to have, yeah? Yeah, feels fair. Maybe some operational specialist?
No, just one developer.
One developer. Okay, yeah, we got the superstar. Okay, we got the superstar developer. The superstar dev, yeah, sounds good. Okay, so we have this AKS, what do we call that one? Is that an operator? What do we call those? I'm looking at you because I think you have best word. Engineer, what do we say? Engineer, engineer, sounds flashy. And then we have this superstar, super developer. Sounds good? Perfect, perfect. This seems fair. And during that operational stuff, how do we find problems? Are they magically appearing from the sky, or? Monitoring? What do we use? App Insights. Sounds good. App Insights. Which also means we will have log analytics in the mix, even if we are not using it right away. So that will be, we'll have another box in here, so app. Whoa. There we go. Maybe you can read that one. App Insight. Good. Is that all we need?
Hopefully a tester.
Now, a tester sounds good. I know a good guy who's testing. I know a good tester. Let me know. Sorry? Oh yes, I really want to have a alerts. So what do we use? PagerDuty? Yeah. Okay, PagerDuty. So not using as a monitor, now you're using PagerDuty. Maybe that's a mix. It's a mix. Yeah. Okay, yep. And do you use monitor in the bottom? Do you use monitor in the bottom? Or do you use it right away on application insights? Okay, okay, no problem. PagerDuty, let's just put it like that. I'll add in monitor underneath. Maybe we have some alerts. I don't know. Source code repo. Yeah, we need somewhere to store our code. Source code. Source code repo. Wow. We're filling this up really quick. Sounds good. DevOps engineer or... Oh yeah, that's a good thing. DevOps engineer. I maybe can spell. Yeah, you'll know what it is. Okay, so anything else for this part where we are now?
Somewhere to store documentation.
Oh.
Somewhere to write it.
Documentation, good one. Documentation and secrets, I think. Somewhere to store secrets, right? Secrets. And then we add into a key vault. So we're growing this rather quickly. Anyone feel like this is walk in the park? Super simple, right? Never been happier? Okay, so when we bring this down, just one more level again. Because next topic, I know this one because I wrote this, is architecture complexity. This is really the fun part. This is where it starts getting fun. So still, this is just boxes out of blue. But if we put this down into what we are actually working with. So just a small question. How many of you are working with more or less closed down VNet solutions? Like half of the room, nice. The other half you have been working, or is it more like you're not working with it today, or you're just happy, guys, skipping VNet? Yep, happy guys, sounds good. So, when it comes to this and we start locking things down, we usually end up in two things. We lose control, right? So when you're in a VNet solution, how many of you actually have control over stuff in a VNet solution? Do you deploy yourself? There's one. Anyone else? Or do you have like another person? Oh, there's one. A little bit nodding, a little bit there. And then comes another cool team as well. They called security. I really liked getting away from security back in like 2015 or something, when LogicApp didn't have any security at all. Or yeah, they had a signature. But nowadays, security is usually up your back, trying to do things. So I'm going to write this one, and you will have to object if you don't want to. I will bring this in a VNet lockdown thing, because it's more fun in the end, and more complex. So are you aware of the hub and spoke setup? A few nods. Someone who wants me to explain hub and spoke? Good. And I just assume I will take the speedway. So hub and spoke, I'll just have a short one. Hub and spoke is more like having a hub like this. All other VNets are connected to that hub. So we will create a bunch of VNets that is connected to this hub. So all of these squares that I'm drawing right now as a VNet, and there's subnets. We have a bunch of things in these VNets and subnet that we might need to talk about, but we also need to have the on-prem. So we will add an on-prem. So we will just do an on-prem. I usually draw a nice house over here so we know that it's on-prem just by looking at it. Look, a door, a window, one more. There we go. A happy guy, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so we have ERP2 is down here. So I'm going to use an express route. So express route is connected to on-prem via something called a gateway. So this gateway over here is connecting my on-prem to cloud. And we usually have like a firewall thingy over here. And inside the hub, so again, this is the hub. We also have the firewall. So this is your standard how things are built up. There could be a difference at your customers, obviously, but this is usually how it looks like. So we have the firewall, and we have the gateway, and we usually have a connected paired VNet that is handling DNS. Probably the one thing that is causing most errors ever, I would say, in a closed environment. And there we have this, conditional for, what is it called, this one? The thank you, private DNS resolver. Thank you. So we're going to use that one because we need it. So that's going to be our DNS. So now we have a connected VNet, DNS, and we have a firewall, we have a gateway, so we can connect back and forth. Sounds good. So now we can add sources. Do we have our API management out on the cloud right away? Or application gateway. Yeah, let's use application gateway just because that's, yeah, let's use that. I'm more used to that, so I'll pick that one. That's on me. So we usually have an application gateway. Oh my God, sorry for my number one complaint is that I write too bad. Sorry, I will try. Next, we will probably have our API management, right? APIM, there we go. And then we will have some networks opening. So this is how we take traffic in. So now we have a way of traffic in. Now our happy consumer can go in there. Did we have a key vault around there? Do we need it from API management? Yes. Probably. You know, at key vault and API management are not the best friends when it comes to certificates. So we have a key vault. We want to use private endpoint. There we go. Look, my support mail is calling me. So we will connect this there. And since we have a closed environment, we want to use it public access off. So don't forget to do that because otherwise it's still open, cloud. So now we have API management, can get secrets. That is really good. Now we can connect down. And we now need to add our next services. So let's go ahead. We had a cloud ERP. We had some container apps. We had a cache. We got the AKS cluster. So is the AKS cluster running on-prem, bare metal? That was the case, right? That was the case? Good. Then we will write them down here. So I'll do super simple in on-prem. So AKS down here. Perfect. And we have container apps. Container apps need a network, so we need to add that to this drawing. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to add always 3 because I don't know where we end up. So we got a container environment, container apps, yada, yada. So let's add a container, zoom in, rewrite, container environment. Good, and there we have some container apps. Good question. We will not go through the ARC way. Probably you want to have it, actually, to be fair. But I think for this drawing, for this case, we'll skip that for now. Good question, though. But we need key vault, I guess, to our container apps, right? Yep. And we are running functions on them. What happens when you run functions anywhere? Anyone? It needs storage, exactly. So let's add storage. So I added 2 container apps, so let's add 2 storage. Store. And all of these blue ones, I don't know if I did talk about it, but that's private endpoints in the end. What happens when you add private endpoints? What do we need? Private DNS. Where do we put private DNS? In the DNS. Exactly. So up here we add 3 private DNS at this point because we need 3 of them. 1 per service. Cool. So our little use case expanded a bit along the way. We built something. We connected a bunch of stuff. Who feels comfortable with this view? That's one. Perfect.
Still not complete.
Still not complete? What are you missing? What did I miss?
Let's see. We've got DNS forwarders. If we're deploying into VNet hardened resources, we'll need deployment infrastructure that's attached to the same VNets because all the deployment endpoints will be isolated. So we need instead of subnets, probably with either private build agents or something like a DevOps managed pool.
Do you know the new tool, the DevOps agent service? That's a good one. But that's correct. We haven't even touched deployment. We only touched this one. We haven't even touched monitoring either, to be fair, actually. So let's go ahead. We need to add for deployment. We start in that area. We add a new network. This could have been done in the other one as well, but let's have a shared one because it's more fun. So let's add a DevOps, I don't know what the name it is, but it's agent service, I think it's called. Just because of that, it's happened to be that we're using DevOps. Just because of that. Is that okay? Okay. I got 1 nod, by the way, sorry for the rest of you. DevOps, which then can connect, or it's actually that way. So now we can actually deploy things in this network as well. And then we also need to have the application insight. How developers are getting code in. Yeah, so the idea behind this developer services or the agents, or at least as I see it, we use repositories in here, which we deploy code to, then we use pipelines, and we use those agents.
I was just wondering whether the developers would need some kind of VM to operate.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I think let's keep it simple now. Let's not lock down DevOps, but we could definitely need to do that.
How about feeding the security team with information they need?
Okay, so help me. What do I need?
I'm going to have to
Sorry? Oh yeah, Defender, yeah, definitely. But that comes a little bit later. We will add that as well. Well, let's keep the insights and the operations so far. That's kind of where we are. We got the insights. So now we can go ahead and send this. But since we are talking security, is this okay? Is this an okay design? That is a big topic, actually. So what he's talking about is peering network. So one big thing when you add these things, so just a small explanation. So if I'm from this container apps, and I'm adding this peering without talking to the routing tables, which is how traffic is routed, I will bypass this firewall wherever I want, because they don't care. But what you do as a network engineer, or when you set this up, is that you're adding routing tables. So every time the traffic goes from this network, it will end up in the firewall for all networks every single time. But this is not done automatically. So you have to do this by yourself. Really important thing. Time and patience, yeah. This stress thing, you know, when they start changing things or want to be in production tomorrow, good things to have in this. Yeah. So that's actually really important to keep in mind. So if you're having very simple, connecting, they could be the network team failed up. Could be very good, but yeah, could be tough. Okay, but I was more thinking about App Insight. So I think until today, more or less, App Insights has always been open. Is there anyone here who has a closed down App Insight? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a few of you. So what do we do then? We add private endpoints, of course. Or it's actually a private link for App Insights. So what you need to do then is then remove these connections, obviously. And there's two settings on Application Insights. It's one for reading and one for publishing data, but we will just remove them all. Oops. And then we will have this private link scope. So this is actually a private link scope. That's why I do it a little bit different. But now I have an environment which will do monitoring, which will do deployment, which will actually run the things that we're talking about. How do you connect to it? Can you do it from home? No. Currently, we have locked everything down. So anything you need to get in contact with, you need to have a routing rule, which is good. But it's just making our life a little bit more complex. Okay, we haven't talked about security. We haven't talked about that part yet. Still, we have this picture drawn. But we will have data flowing now. So we have our AKS cluster that can do that. We have our routings up in there, because we did. We have all these techniques that we talked about. And we have 24 minutes left of the session. Good. Okay. Architecture complexity. I think I made up a point that this gets complex. Hopefully. Good. That was my plan. Security and compliance. Now, my friend. How do we be compliant? Yeah. So how many, so we're going to add some security services, yes? How many do we need? Yeah, so we need, I think you're a little bit loud. Can we just make, sorry, yeah, it's a little bit too low.
It depends upon what is your organization security compliance requirements are. Like if you are aiming to achieve ISO 27001, then you will have different requirements. Accordingly, you will choose services that you like. Yeah. Yeah,
but which one should we add in this mix? So if you pick and choose, you can pick and choose yourself. So we will add Defender.
Defender for APIs, and I'll have Sentinel.
Oh yeah, then
we're for security analysis.
Yeah, Sentinel. Do everyone know what Sentinel is?
And in the app gateway, I will have WAF enabled.
WAF, definitely on Epic GV over here, yeah. WAF, that is actually a horrible service. Yeah. So do we know what Sentinel is? Is there anyone who doesn't know what Sentinel is? So a short introduction. So this is where you gather all the logs. So you gather a lot of information, and then you kind of analyze it, and then you do create security incidents, or you do security reports. You're nodding, so I'm telling it correctly.
That's right.
Perfect. Sir?
SEIM.
CEM, yeah. SIEM. Let's write that, SIEM. So if you look at, Sentinel wants to have a lot of logs. So you can do this in a different way. Either you have a centralized team that actually are responsible for sending all the logs there. But I think if you go in a really big organization, it's the opposite around. So usually kind of say like, hey, we are requiring that you send logs to us. Please provide logs that we want. Oh, you're nodding. I like this. I like this. So then you kind of put like, okay, we need these logs in order to keep you safe, or in order to monitor whatever is going on that we feel comfortable from security team. So you usually just push logs to Sentinel. It's usually log analytics, maybe something else, maybe custom logs as well. Yeah. Okay, yeah, depending on the service, yeah. Sorry, I don't follow.
Sorry. So, well, once you
Perfect.
Once you start feeding the security system, it then starts to feed back to you. You need to look at this. You need to look at that. So you've got a whole other layer of complexity coming back.
Oh yeah, that adds a lot of complexity. So the feedback loop coming back. So when you start, as you said, so when you start sending data into this, we will then increase complexity because then we will have some more stuff we need to do. Yikes, that's interesting. But okay, we have Defender for API, we got Sentinel. We probably have some requirements on our API management. We had some job tokens maybe certificates, maybe that kind of stuff that's needed over here. Just for the sake of it, do we have any Australian in the rooms? Oh, we have one. Mick, sorry for bothering you. So the Optus breach, that was a nice one, right? Yes. So do you know what Optus breach was? So Optus breach is, what is it, the telecom company, a telecom company in Australia that published APIs. Probably in some way like this. I don't know, because I don't know what they're using on the hood, but probably a setup like this, I would assume, because they are really keen on security. The only small, tiny little problem was that they forgot that block this way in. They had no security on their operations in the APIs. They just went right through. That's it was a costly thing. So make sure to keep security on, because even how much you build on this, you still want to make sure that your operations are secure. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so now we're compliant. We got the Defender for API. We're working with the security team via Sentinel. Awesome. We got some feedback loops. We probably need to do some more work along the way. Cool. Deployment and scalability. That's the next challenge that we will face in this world. So for us, in this area, we actually cheated a little bit. We added the DevOps thing. So we have the DevOps, we got the agents in there so we can deploy. That's nice. We didn't really secure DevOps, which means that security guys will come at us throat later, but let's put that for now. But how about scaling then? I think we have a good, we got a container apps environment over here. So this one will probably be having some automated scaling, I hope. That would be a good one. That's for me. And when it comes to the AKS cluster, well, they will a little bit dependent on our AKS guy, I think, our engineer. They will need a good one, an engineer. Maybe we use something called like Keda or Dapper or something like that. Keda, I think it is, we use for that. Thank you. You're knowledge to me. I want to roll today. That's good. So I think we're quite good on that. API management, that probably scales quite well. Just for the fun of it, does anyone here actually needed to scale their API management premium instance more than one, just for volumes? No, cool. That would actually been interesting because there's a lot of requests. Okay, we got a scalable environment. We got development there, deployment, I mean, that's cool. And the last one, cognitive complexity. This is my favorite. Oh, we have one. Oh, disaster recovery. Oh. Oh. Oh, disaster recovery. Let's add that. Disaster recovery and geo redundancy. Let's start with those. Yep. Hopefully, yes. The environments, I really hope that we have a dev test, QA, and prod, or at least dev test prod. Identical, yeah, Q test and prod at least, yeah. I do feel, I don't know, but there's a few companies out there that want to have the dev environment different, total different. I've even heard of a case where production is like network lockdown, but test and QA is not. That's an interesting way of walking, I would say. I understand it from cost perspective, but it increases the complexity even more. Did you have something to add? Okay, sorry, looked at that. So, disaster recovery. How do we solve that one? Do we need a DR we added we start with geo-redundancy, sorry. So in this case, this is super simple. This will probably right now be in one region, one sake, which means that we will probably have, our storage account will probably have at least, zone redundancy, yeah, exactly. So zone redundancy we probably have. But if we want to add like geo-redundancy, so we want to add this to deploy to another data center as well. Do you know what happens? Do we have any votes? What happens if we want to duplicate this to a new data center? Besides that we're duplicating a lot of stuff. Exactly. We need new DNS services in a new region. We need new networks. We need to deploy things in there. Even if it's cold, we need to do that if we want to have an active environment. We could have active passive, which means that we can just switch regions by deploy. That's one way of doing it. Then it's actually simpler during runtime right now and less costly. Anything else on geo redundancy that we need to add? On-prem. On-prem? Wow. Exactly. Now we need to have the hub network needs to be duplicated. We need to have, wow, I'm not sure how to draw this, to be honest. But yeah, we have one more. I need front door. That is absolutely correct, because application gateway is not going to help us anymore. Because then we need to be able to switch the DNS to that region instantly. And that's only front door, because that's a global service. So that's a big thing, comparison between application gateway and front door if you're thinking about them. Application gateway is not going away, but if you want to be globally and have a unique endpoint that you can route whatever you want to, that's front door. So as you can imagine, I need to copy this a few times. I need to add the front door. I need to also add another data center on-prem. Then we would be happy. So how's the complexity going on? Yes, exactly. Complexity increases like crazy. So it goes up, exponential. So kind of the key thing about this is how easy is it for us? How many of you actually are seeing all of this when you're out there today? So how many are you seeing this? That's nice. How many of you are working in it but are, closed from it? Like having an infrastructure team that is taking care of stuff. How many of you are doing that? There's a few of you. Yeah, a little bit different. Yeah. So how are you actually, is there anyone in there working like totally free? Like I'm doing my Logic app and everything else is just out of my hands? No one? Okay. So how is this affecting us as developers when time goes on? That is an interesting question when it comes to cognitive complexity. Because as this increases and we add more services and we add geo-redundancy, we need to have disaster recovery, we get the security coming back on our heads like, oh, you need to fix this. Are we going to be fast? Depends on the severity, yes. But how is this impacting us as developers? We're not doing what we're doing. That's actually a really good one.
Because we have to understand now networking, infrastructure, not just writing the code that does the application, but now we have to be concerned with how it's hosted, how it's put.
I'm getting goosebumps. Nice explanation. So did you hear that? So we're going from being an integration developer on BizTalk, for instance, or whatever you were. You had your thing that you deployed to, into now actually needing to understand all of this. Who's troubleshooting the DNS errors? We. Who is finding out that the network is not working? We. Who is then when this needs to be scaling, you need to add something. Who's adding things? We. Who writes the bicep? Yeah, okay, good. There's a few of you. Do you have a DevOps engineer helping you? Okay, no one, okay. That was a fancy one we had then. Good. Okay. All of this combines into one thing. We need to do ourselves a big favor. Because if we are going to be, when this grows even more, we need to be good to ourselves and actually provide the means to accelerate even further. Because we can't keep this in our head. We really need to actually, even if I'm one of the bad one on this, I know from history, we need to start thinking about standards. We need to, it's boring, I know, but it's still, we need to take control of our stuff. Like now, if we have the container set up and then someone comes in and say, hey, I want to do something completely different and work with Python or Golang or whatever cool language comes up, is that a good choice? Maybe not. We need to have our standards on our way, do that. We also need to automate things because it's easy when it's automated. So when you're sitting in the portal and clicking next, 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 that's going to be a hard thing rather than doing the automation. Then you're doing it right. Because if you have your templates for your deployments and so forth, so that gets easy, then it's more fun. It's easier. And then, as I said, I work a lot with the last one, which is improvements, review, stay up to date, optimize. That is the new thing. So when things come up, we need to simplify things. We need to cut costs in some areas. We need to remove things. We need to keep track of things. That's important. And we need to have an understanding of what the things are doing and how our networks are set up. Because if I've seen this as well. So one team is really good at building documentation, not too much, but enough, so you understand what you're actually looking at. And as soon as you need to do something in there, you just look at documentation, you talk about it, then you execute. And then you have this other team who just clicked in Portal, having fun, just mixed bicep and Portal clicks, just deploying because they're fun, aka AI team, the AI cool team. They can do whatever they want. And then you end up going to help them, and it's a mess. Because they have done some ways in that way, and naming conventions is, I don't know, everything is messed up. Because they were cool kids, having fun, building AI solutions. So then we need to help them, but we need to bring them back to our original one. Do we want to add something more? Yes. Knowledge redundancy. So meaning it shouldn't be in my head. Superhero. I like to be a superhero. No, I actually don't. But I agree with you. So personal dependencies is really tough. And it's usually something we have. So I have, when I started doing this, my mentor came to me and he was like, do you know what the biggest mistake people do? I was like, no. It's making them reliable on you. Okay, but I thought that was a good thing. I'm a consultant. I make money of that. Yeah, but they're reliant on you on this thing. That's one thing. What if you instead make sure to move on everything? You make this, someone else can pick this up. And then you build something new, and someone else can pick that up too. You know what that makes you? Irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. Because I don't want to have that hero who's building stuff and grabbing them and holding them like this. They want to have people building stuff that can be maintained, that can be handed over and over again. So they told me, be a wasp. Wasp, wasp, don't be a bee. I like that one. I like that saying. Any more do we need to add? I got 5 minutes more. Cost. Wow. We bring that up now. Woo! Yeah, cost is a bummer. So usually that comes up second as well. That comes on it continuously, I would say. Because in the end, you have a project, and you got stress, and you got cool people. So you just rush it. And then cost comes second, which means you I usually ends up under optimize or in cost savings, maybe that can also be. But yeah, it's something you need to do continuously. I agree, because for some reason, security. Sorry, but for some reason, sometimes we build things in a way that super secure, ultra deluxe security, and we're gonna do a get weather from I don't know, weather service and put it in somewhere that is open public. Congrats. You just wasted a lot of money. You could have been doing that in a much simpler way. Now that is, I know that is far off, but still, there's a lot of cases where security is not that important, or it's important, but you don't need that kind of security for all of your things. You need to combine them because of costs. Good. We got 3.5 minutes left. Anything else? No? Then I'll say thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope you enjoyed it.